What's up, YouTube? Prof Sales coming at you with a video. Happy Motivational Monday. I hope your Monday is going well. It is Monday, July 17, 2017, and we are off and running on the show. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there in the chat. Let me know if my sound is good. Probably is, but YouTube has been very, very glitchy today. I didn't even think I was going to be able to do this show, to be honest, only because the whole of YouTube has just it crashed earlier today. Like you couldn't do anything on it system wide. So I couldn't even upload, that I was going to do this show for a while. And I thought, man, should I cancel? Should I go? But here we are. So hopefully it will work and we will be able to keep going. All right, so as you can see, for those of you already in the chat, Karin is here in the chat room. She's camera shy today, so she is talking to everybody in the chat. Actually, I think she's just eating lunch. But how's everybody doing today? Hope your July is going well. How's your business going? Leave me a comment in the chat box and say, hey, Prof, it's going great. Hey, Prof, it's not going great. Hey, Prof, I don't know what's happening. But whatever's going on with your business, it's cool to kind of hear how people are doing and what your perception is. So, feel free to leave me that in the chat, or if you're watching this later, a comment. So Jennifer says that she's been cleaning shoes all morning. Yes, shoes do take some cleaning for sure, right? Yes, we will be talking about shoes a little bit later in the show. And I just want to let everybody know too, that I will be showing some finds that I found while I was in Austin this past weekend. So stay tuned for that a little bit later in the show. Don't miss those because I've got some cool things to show with you. Not a tremendous amount of items, but a few here and there. Brandy's still learning, but working at it. Busy is had a great sales weekend. And Swamp's in the house. Tino, what's up, Tino? So enjoyed my friend Tino this weekend. And, he was great. So lots of stories I could tell you about Tino and his driving. And I just made him laugh, I'm sure. But anyway, that's another story for another time. But yeah, so we're going to talk today about networking. And this is a topic that I don't think is really covered enough in the reseller world, and I have a fresh perspective on it after this weekend. Share this with you guys today, and hopefully you can use this information to, really increase your business knowledge, your awareness, your ability to make better sales, to understand other resellers. We'll talk about that. All right, so let's jump right in the topic. So this past weekend, I went to Austin, Texas. I actually went there on Wednesday of last week. I got in the early morning. Tino actually picked me up from the airport, so he was my Uber all weekend. And he's going to let me drive next time. That's so funny. It's sort of an inside joke. But we had this green room meetup. Now, for those of you who don't know, the green room is a paid membership group based around resellers and entrepreneurs that I'm a member of. It's about 900 members, I guess, somewhere around there. And once a year, they have an annual meetup where they get together and network and have a conference. And it was a lot of fun. So I arrived at Wednesday in Austin, Texas, and Austin is really hot, in case you've never been there in the summer, and humid. But it was a lot of fun because I was able to speak. We had a seminar day on Thursday. So I gave a presentation about inventory systems, of all things. And I was also on an eBay panel along with Tino and Tanya from Thrifty Treasures, if you know her as well. She has a great channel, so check that out. And we talked about, various subjects and so on. But the really amazing part of this weekend was just being able to connect with all these different people who I kind of knew through the Green Room Facebook group and so on. But I didn't really have a personal connection with so many of them. I knew them as a screen name. I might know a little bit about their business from what they would leave in a comment, but it was totally different meeting somebody in person, right? It's always different. It was the first time I met Tino. Luke from Endless Entrepreneurs was there with me as well. Of course, it's Steve Raiken and Chris Dupuis and Eric Spears have created this group, and they all three have YouTube channels as well. But I hadn't met them in person either, so that was cool. And it was really a lot of fun. But I want to get into how you can use networking to help your business and other things. But I wanted to talk about that for a moment because I had a lot of takeaways from this weekend. Not only did we have some events that were planned, but we also had social events that were planned. Like we were going to go see the bats fly out under the bridge. We actually didn't get to do that. That's another whole story, but it was our fault. We just got going a little late at one point. We had events at various places we met. There was nature walks in the morning. There was a yard sale caravan on Saturday. And I also got some opportunities to go thrifting with some different people and kind of pick their brain and see, kind of how they do it, how they approach things. But I just want to talk about this idea of networking. So I think the first thing I want to share with you guys is this. And this is the part that probably stumps a lot of people, because you might be in some reseller Facebook group, or maybe you're in the green room, or maybe you've got you're connected to people on Instagram that are resellers or entrepreneurs or business people. I would say that, you need to make connections, and you need to make connections through these social media groups. You have to reach out. You got to do it. Like, people aren't going to come to you necessarily and say, hey, let's start talking about business together. Hey, I'm interested in, forming a friendship or, a business relationship with you. They might, but it's not likely. Like, you've got to be able to reach out to people, to make a connection to them, and just say, hey, I know what you're doing in this group, what you've been posting about, and I was wondering if I could ask you some questions about it. Now, I know for a lot of people that's really hard, and they just are shy, or they're afraid of getting rejected by that person. And the person might blow you off. The person might not have time for you. I got to tell you, like, it was a while before some of the people, even in the YouTube world, that spoke to me, or I was able to make a connection with them. It took a while sometimes. It took a few tries. So don't give up, but you've got to reach out to people and make these connections. So once you've made this connection, here's the important part, and the part where everybody gets screwed up, I found. And I even saw this somewhat, at the event this past weekend, from some people, and they kind of got it a little more once they were in person. They understood the pitfall of this problem. So you've reached out to this content creator, you've reached out to this other reseller, you've reached out to somebody that maybe you admire, or you're inspired by their results or their talk or whatever. And then you just want to question. Hey, tell me this. I got to tell you, that person is going to get tired of that very, very quickly. It's one thing to ask a person a question and then give you a quick answer. It's quite another to keep coming back to them without sort of trying to figure it out on your own. But more importantly than that, I would say here's a second thing you should do. You've got to bring some value to that person. Gary Vee is big on this. If you want to reach out to somebody who is at a higher level than you, whatever you perceive that to be, bring them value. Offer to help them. Say, hey, I sell in this niche, and I could share my info with you. I don't know if you ever thought about it or not, but I've learned a lot. Maybe I can share it with you and be something you'd be interested in. Or I can talk, hey, when you come to my town, I can show you some great spots to source, for instance, if you're ever in this area, whatever it is. Or if they're in your town, offer to go buy them lunch and sit down and pick their brain for an hour. A value to this person, because their time is important, just like yours is. And while I'd like to say I could just sit here and give all of my time every day to people who ask questions of me, that's not realistic. It's not realistic for anybody else. So seek a way to bring value to them, as well as you can, get information from them as well. And along those lines, I would seek to collaborate. Maybe you're a YouTuber. Maybe you have an audience, and this is where people screw this up. And I did this at first too. I thought way back when I had a 1,000 subscriber base, there is no way that Steve Raiken or, you know, Entrepreneur Girl, I had her on the show. She had 20-some thousand subscribers. You know, people like that, there's no way they would ever come on my show, or they'd ever want to do an interview, or they'd want to do some sort of collaboration together on YouTube. Not true. I mean, I reached out to these people and eventually was able to, you know, have a connection with them even through YouTube. And that reinforced the connection behind the scenes as well as on camera. But just because you're a small seller doesn't mean that a bigger seller isn't going to connect to you. They were there in your shoes at one point. So I would say, you know, just make sure that you are reaching out to people in ways and seeking ways to collaborate. Maybe it's through YouTube if you're a YouTuber. Maybe you could go sourcing with them. Maybe you could help them with a bulk buy if it's a category that they're not sure about, for instance. Anything like that where you can collaborate and work together, you'll start forming that relationship, which is so important. And after you've done all these first three things, I would say then you can really pick their brain to learn their business model inside and out. What works for them? What hasn't worked? Is their business model scalable to like what you want to do, whatever level that is? How can you apply what they know to your business? Like, example, there was a guy there at the Green Room event who is interested in expanding his eBay business. He does a large Amazon business, and much larger than me on eBay for sure. And, you know, he has employees, but he wants to expand his eBay business too. And he came up with this idea, and he said, hey, what if when you were sourcing, you were sitting at home while your employee, your sourcer, your picker was out there at a store FaceTiming you or what have you, and slowly scanning through items, and you would tell them to stop and pull something and look at it and see if it's worth buying or not. Of it, I thought that idea was crazy. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, well, it's possible. I mean, it's maybe not ideal, but the advantage to that would be if you had some sourcers, you know, maybe it was just one, maybe you have two people sourcing for you, but they could go out to multiple stores in a day and be in two places at once, and you could remotely watch their picking results. And you could tell them, hey, I want you to go down the jean aisle, and I want you to go through the brands fairly slowly. Like, I will tell you to stop. This would also reinforce to them what is good and what isn't. It was pretty cool though. But there's ways that you can do that. And I was like, man, I would have never thought to do that, but it allows you, if you're the primary person sourcing for your business, which most of you probably are, it allows you to be in more places than one at the same time. Really cool. And also allows you to be at home, for instance, if you want, doing other things in your business. Maybe you're packing and shipping. Maybe you're listing things out there, going through a store, and then they go through one and they buy everything, and then they drive to the next one and text you when they're there, and you rinse and repeat. It allows you to have people out there doing the business and learning it, and you're able to have some management over it. Again, an idea I wouldn't have thought of, you know, only because this person and I started making a connection at the Green Room, and it was awesome. It was a cool, and he came from an Amazon background, so it was easier with Amazon to do that, but it's not impossible to think about doing that for eBay too. So interesting idea. I don't know if I'll do it or not, but who knows? But you're not going to learn those things unless you reach out to these people. So you got to pick their brain and then ask them what works and what doesn't, and you'll get all kinds of ideas that you never even thought about because they view it differently than you do. I mean, there's probably similarities, but there could be some differences as well. So the last thing I'm going to say on this subject is this, and this is probably the most important part. So you've got this person, you're collaborating with them, you've made a connection to them, you're hoping to you're bringing them value, you're seeking ways to collaborate and picking their brain and learning things, but seek to become a friend to this person. Tino and I, for instance, this past weekend, you know, Tino was asking me some questions about things about his YouTube channel and about behind the scenes in his business, and I was helping him and sharing my knowledge with him. At the same time, And when we went out thrifting together, I was going through and asking him questions about various shoe brands and various shoe conditions and the market and so on. Like, it was symbiotic, you know, but it all started from he and I have become friends as well. Like, it's not just a in the moment relationship where I ask him something, he gives an answer. He asks something, I give an answer. Like, we connected outside of the business as well. Like, we socialized together. You know, Luke the same way here in town, and some other people too that were there, and we kind of found ourselves all in the same car together quite often, or all at the same restaurant or what have you. So you can actually become friends with these people and form a relationship that goes even beyond. I mean, business is great, but if you can have a friendship with them too, I mean, that's so powerful, because that's somebody you can confide in as well. Because I'm going to tell you guys, reselling can be a lonely business sometimes. You know, I'm lucky that Karen is involved in the business, and I can bounce things off of her and talk to her about my, you know, my fears and my concerns. And a lot of you out there may not have that. Like, you may have a spouse who doesn't really, or your family members don't really understand or don't really support you. I ran into people this weekend like that, where they're like, yeah, my wife doesn't think I can do this, or my husband thinks it's crazy, or thinks we're hoarding stuff or whatever. So I think that's really important to make sure that you know, seek to become friends with other people. You're not going to be friends with every single person you reach out to and collaborate with, but it does allow you to have a connection to other people that are in the same boat you're in and understand you on some level. And you can talk the talk with them, and they get it. They get it. Like, it's not like they're judging you for being a reseller, or judging you for being an entrepreneur, or telling you, you know, you're going to fail or anything like that. Like, they know that, hey, it's work, it's a grind. It takes a lot of ingenuity and so on sometimes to make this business work. Friendship. So I would do all those things, guys. And however you want to network, I mean, social media makes the world really small. I bet all of you have probably other resellers in your hometown or in near you that you could connect to, that you could possibly find. And, you know, that way, if you want to have somebody who could actually, you can meet in person, you know, you could do it. And great friendships are formed that way. I highly encourage you to do it. It has such a positive impact on your outlook about this business. It's just hard to even put a value on it, honestly. And, you know, seek them out. You're going to have to seek them out, because they may not be looking for you or even know you exist, but they're there. You know, and I've been fortunate to have a couple here in Charlotte. That's when we had our meetup a couple weeks back. Like, hey, we want to connect people and form friendships and relationships that'll impact our businesses as well as our personal lives. And I think we succeeded at that. People started making connections, and they'll just blossom from there and grow into whatever they're going to grow into. So, you know, definitely reach out. It's really important, I think, to make that connection to other resellers. All right. If you have questions too, as we've been going here, 61 people watching, by the way, guys, thanks for that. But if you have questions, feel free to type them in the chat or leave them afterwards. Just try to some question marks so I can tell that it is a question, and I'll do my best to answer it. But thanks for everybody watching today. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, and I really appreciate it. One quick programming reminder. You know, we do have this new show schedule. We're trying to do 2 o'clock Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So set your alarm in your iPhone or your Android so you won't have to you won't forget. Prof Sales is on. But no, in all seriousness, though, we are trying to gear specific topics around each of those days. Sometimes they'll be interchangeable. Like this week, I thought on Monday I would normally talk about eBay 101, but I thought, wow, I really need to talk about networking today after the events from this past weekend. So that's why we switched it up just a little bit. Wrenches all around. Yeah, we have a lot of wrenches in here today. It's crazy. So if you guys have been waiting, we're going to do a little show and tell here from Austin, what we found. You guys know I'm not huge on haul videos, but I'm going to show a few things. I'll answer one quick question here before I do that. Jennifer asked, what's the single most piece of information you took away from the weekend that will propel you in your business? Wow, that's a great question. And I think it kind of comes back to the concept of this show. I made contacts with some people in the green room who I knew, but I didn't really have a personal relationship with. And I think that being able to reference those people, like there was a guy who talked about private label, something I've wondered about, had questions about, but I got on an email list where he's going to update people. Super awesome guy. His name is Brandon Pierce, I believe. Tremendous presentation on Thursday about, just really good, about private label. And I thought, you know what? I don't know if I'll do private label or not, but he had a way, and I can't go into all the detail right here, but he had a way of analyzing the competition on Amazon and how much they were selling of various items and how he kind of hacked the system, not hack, but like he figured out a hack that would let him see how the competition was doing with their products. That was ingenious. I don't know if he came up with it or not, but I never heard it before. And I went, man, that is really good. And just like having that ability to, kind of figure out what an item is doing and if it's selling or not was really powerful. And I thought, somebody like that who can use that in their business and is willing to put in that time and energy, that's somebody I want to have a relationship with going forward and stay in contact with, because I don't even know where that'll go positive. So that was really cool. Found a pair of Robin jeans at Salvation Army. Do you remember which one? No, I don't remember which one we had. I do remember we could not authenticate them. I'm probably not the best to authenticate them, as Karin said here in the chat too. They are fairly often faked. But I would just highly recommend you find a guide online, and a recent guide too, because brands change the way they look over time sometimes, and what was true 5 years ago is not always true now. So make sure you guide if you can. AuthenticForum.com is also a resource. Sometimes you can post a photo and they will let you know that and they'll try to give you an idea. Okay. So show and tell time. All right. So first up is a pair of shoes, and I found these actually when we jumped out of the Tino's van on Thursday at the very first thrift store. We met up with the caravan of people and met Raiken and Bonafide and Eric and all those guys and a bunch of other people that were there too. It was about 15 or 16. We went in this thrift store, and I didn't really see too many jeans they had, but I found these really cool Clark Indigo. You can see these are like a snakeskin print. These are the Clark's Indigo. Now, you see the price was $7.50. Half off that. Actually ended up being just right at $4 with tax. And they're such a cool print. I just think there's no way these don't sell. Very little wear on the bottom. Like these literally, they've maybe been worn a couple times. I'm not going to put them as new, but very close to new. Nothing worn out on them all. Probably maybe around $40 from what I understand, but we'll see if that price holds up. Paid $4 for them, so great flip, and really like finding those. Let's see. I'll show some jeans and shoes and all that good stuff together. So this pair of jeans, I didn't source a lot of jeans, guys, and I didn't source a lot of shoes either because I didn't have a lot of room to bring stuff back. I had a carry-on suitcase and my backpack, and it was already pretty full, so it wasn't like I could just, and I'm like, man, do I want to buy a suitcase and a Goodwill? But then I got to check a bag, it's gonna cost $25, and the shipping home would cost some money too. So I tried to be very strategic with what I bought. So I didn't really buy a tremendous amount, but I did find a couple clothes. This brand is a brand I've only maybe seen one or two other times. Luke actually found these, and he decided to pass on them because he was basically sourcing for other things. So he threw them away. But the brand is Taverniti. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. Taverniti So jeans. And they're really cool looking. You can see like they're missing a pocket. It almost looks like they're in the front, wrong side, which is kind of cool. Also in the back, they have like double pockets, it looks like. So I think these will go for about $35 or $40. They were a little higher. The Goodwills there are basically about $8 for a lot of jeans, but they do have some lower. This particular store, by the way, guys, had probably 6 Miss Me's and 5 or 6 True Religions, but they were all priced for $20. So I decided not to get any of them at that price point. Just wasn't worth it. Not enough meat on the bone, as Steve Raiken likes to say from time to time. Next up is another pair of shoes. I'm going to take this off. And again, if you guys follow me on Instagram, you probably saw some of these, but these are basically ballet flats. And you can see the brand is Yossi Samra. Yossi Samra. The clerk thought it was an Anthropologie brand, but then someone else said, so I don't know if they are or not. Again, pretty much new. You can see like the stickers in perfect condition. These haven't been worn. Super cheap to ship. Leopard print. These should go for like maybe even $45. I did have to pay up on these a little bit. They were $12. We found this store. It was a thrift store, and it had tremendous amount of shoes in it, but it did not have a lot of organization. And they'd had stuff on the floor that was not priced. Like they put it out there, and then you go to the front and they'd say, hey, well, we didn't actually price that. Hold on, let me see what it is. And sometimes they would look it up. It was really funny, but they were really disorganized, but great ballet flats. So these should go first class, ship cheap. You know, basically they'll cost no more than $4 and was it 40 cents? Couple other jeans here. These are just some Big Star Sweet Ultra Low Rise. They are long, so nice pair of jeans. Big Stars are always good sellers, but they're long, which is always, I mean, longs, guys, long jeans in women's especially tend to go for a premium, and they tend to sell quicker. So are those the calf hair ones? Hank said. I think so. I'm not totally sure. Ark had a question, said, what's the best place to sell replica items such as jeans and shoes? Want to sell a pair of replica Pradas and represent them as replicas? Ark, I would only do that locally. And quite honestly, I don't know exactly what you have there, but the name Prada on them and you put them up on eBay, you're basically just asking for a Vero complaint and maybe even getting suspended. You can't counterfeit items. You can't make an item and stick a Prada label on it. Like that's against the law. It's against federal law. And it's also absolutely against the terms of service on e-commerce platforms. So I would not recommend doing that. If you want to sell them locally as just shoes, you know, you can do that, but even that's a little iffy if they're representing themselves as Prada. Oh, Karen's got a question here I had earlier from Steve Richard. I'm starting a sneaker reselling business, and I'd love to know what your thoughts are on offering free shipping, global shipping. I think you should offer free shipping on anything that'll go in like a flat rate envelope or first class. I really do. I mean, if you can make it fit and not damage the shoe, absolutely. Absolutely. You already know what your shipping costs will be if it goes in one of those two methods, and it's not going to be much. And I would absolutely do a global shipping, of course. Absolutely. I mean, there's people overseas who like different brands. Different brands have different recognition in different countries. So I would absolutely do that, and I would offer free shipping. Now, if it's heavier or too big, that gets trickier. And you said your shoes are sneakers, so I'm not sure how many that would go in a flat rate or first class. Probably none first class, but flat rate you might. But it just depends. Thoughts on offering free shipping. So Lauren says you might be able to move on a Facebook sales group. I'm not sure, Lauren, maybe if you can elaborate why you think it's risky to do that, to sell shoes overseas. Is there some issue with counterfeits and so on? I don't know. But anyway, all right, moving forward. Pair of jeans. So that same store that had all their jeans at $8.90 or at $7.99, they missed these nice little pair of Hudsons. Are, if I remember right, they're probably a straight leg. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they were only $5.99. So absolutely worth that. Hudson's in the fall. These could probably sell for maybe about 40-ish. So definitely worth picking up for $6, no question about it. And also a long. I think these are probably like a 32-inch inseam. I have a feeling. Haven't measured yet, but we'll see. Two more pair of shoes I will share. So hopefully you guys will think these are cool. So Tino was going through a massive amount of boxes of shoes in the back room of one of these stores. So I was pulling out some too and found these nice little, I don't know why when I see this, I think of like Bigfoot or something. It's kind of funny. These are super light, these little, you know, the toes and the whatever. It's kind of funny. Like, why do they only have 4? Just realized that. Do 2 go together in this, I guess? I don't know. I've never worn these before. I guess that's what happens. But anyway, so yeah, these are pretty cool. They're in pretty good shape. Probably a little bit of cleaning to do. Super light. I'm pretty sure they can go first class as well. Yeah, we'll see if they will work or not. Yeah, if somebody could tell me too, why do these only have 4? Is it just because you put the last 2 toes together in this spot? I'm guessing, but maybe maybe they're defective. I don't know, but who knows? Let's see, a couple other questions. Have you mailed boots? Yeah. Yeah, some of them will fit in the USPS box, Brandy, to answer your question, and some will not. Some you literally have to put in a different box, just if they're too wide. It just kind of depends. But fortunately, all the ones we've had so far have fit in that shoe box. But you definitely might have to come up with another shipping solution. How are your numbers for the month looking? Seeing increase in sales? No, Vic, this is a slow time for me with such a heavy denim mixture in my assortment. I know it's going to be slow this time. I have to just grit it out. And you know, and I've moved into shoes. Shoes have sold a little bit, not a tremendous amount, but it's definitely a slow period. July is just like vacation month, I think. So let's see. Baby toe goes with its neighbor. Yeah, trying to figure that water shoes from you. Oh, jeez. Free shipping journey. You were free shipping early on, then not, now a mix. Yeah, that's a great question, BJ, and you're exactly right. I have changed my opinions on free shipping here and there. On free shipping. I mean, I think overall, if you can do free shipping and make it work, make it work. But if you're shipping a variety of weight and size items, you probably can't do that unless you have a real good feel for how to include that price into your sales price. So just be cognizant of that. But I would say in a vacuum, do free shipping. It's more powerful to a buyer. They think they're getting, free shipping. I mean, free is a great word, right? And I have a mixture of it in my store right now. Some things are charged calculated shipping, some are not. Some people, a couple of my friends have been talking about even doing sort of like a midway, like, jeans cost me about $6.30 to ship. What about doing a shipping cost of like $3.99? You sort of cut into the shipping cost, but not crazy. I don't know if it really does or not. The bottom line is just how much money do you bring in versus how much goes out. And if you can make that work with free shipping, I would do it. All right, some other jeans here. This was also at that same store. Now this pair, hey, we'll do a little test here. We'll have a little fun. All right, let's see if anybody is a jean reseller that can get if you can get what these are. So these were $10. But can anybody, there is one little clue on the back of these jeans that might tell you what they are. Let's see if anybody in the chat can get what these jeans are. And there's one little clue on here that you'll usually see. No, Karin, you cannot guess. But and this is a tough one. And I'll be surprised if anybody gets this. Like, I'm not sure I would get it on face value either. I really have to think about it a moment. Ed guessed Joe's. Nope. Polo. Good guesses. Good guesses. A little bit nichier than those two. Well, Joe's is pretty nichey. But Mother. Nope. Nope. And there's probably some others that have this clue I'm talking about. Diesel, Joe's, Wrangler, Tino. Shut up. You're not allowed to guess either. Oh, Tanner got it. Tanner got it. Good job, Tanner. J Brand. Very good, man. Tanner, I'm impressed. That was a tough one. Very well done. J Brand, new with tags. These have not been worn, guys. Jeans are like the day they came out of the factory. They're also a long length. So, you know, Goodwill being smart says, oh, they're new with tags. We'll price them up to $10. I don't think it's going to matter on these. I think they're still going to go for like 80. So we'll see. I think it'll go a little bit better in the fall. But J Brand is a really great brand of jeans if you can find them, especially if you can find them new. And great guess, Tanner. Man, that was impressive because all you had to go by, this is what he went by, was this little thread right here. Tanner went by. I'm not sure. And I think that's kind of distinctive to J Brand, how they do that. But I can't remember for sure. But otherwise, there wasn't much. Nothing on the back pocket. So anyway, so got those. J Brand, love those. Don't find those that often. I'm saving one thing for last. I'm saving two things for last. All right. So this is, Karin couldn't even believe I bought these. The heck are those? This is the heaviest pair of shoes of this type I've ever found. So on the face of it, you might think not that big a deal, but when you turn them over, guess what those are, guys? These are the infamous Heelys for adults. This is a size 12, I believe. 13 shoes. Nice shape. A little bit of dirt on them, but nothing crazy. Yeah, and the kids ones apparently, I haven't really sold these for too much. Yeah, Chris is saying 35 to 45 bucks. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. 10K on the bay. What's up, Chris? Paid 10 for them. I was already in the store, so not a huge flip. But I just thought they were cool. They look like, you see Heelys on eBay, but they're kind of the plain ones. They're just a plain little canvasy like shoe. These look more like a sneaker, as you can see, and they're really cool. And they're in great shape. The wheel's in great shape. So kind of cool to find those. They were 10 bucks, a little higher, but I felt like it'd be a fun sale. Thing I'm going to share with you is, yeah, Karin says, I didn't know they made them for adults. Yeah, I didn't either. So we'll see what they go for. Hopefully, if they go for $40, I'm happy. That's a 4X on my money. I'm happy with that. And the last thing, I didn't really find, I was given this. So my friend Steve Raiken was out yard sailing Saturday morning. And at the event Saturday night, I actually, they had a raffle, and I won a $25, I don't even know where it is, $25 eBay gift card, which was really cool to get. I didn't expect it. You know, there's like 75 or 80 people there, I guess, maybe. And, you know, so winning that, you know, they gave out about 6 or 7 gifts, and I was really excited to win that. But he also gave me, you know, this pair of jeans he found out yard sailing. So you guys probably know this brand. I don't think it'll be too hard to guess which one this is. He paid $1. So for all of you out there who think you cannot get great deals at yard sales and so on, guys, $1. Miss Me jeans. that they're pretty much flawless. I mean, there's none of the sequins are missing on the back. The stitching, there's no little there's not hardly any little strands or anything coming off anywhere. Nothing's coming unraveled. I mean, they literally look like they've been worn maybe once or twice, and I think they're a long length as well. So just a great find, and it was a nice gift from Steve. I really appreciate it. I think right now they would go for maybe around $40, maybe $45, but I think in the fall they'll push more like $65. So I might go ahead and throw them up. I might not. I don't know. We'll see. Miss Me's are great, and the cool thing about Miss Me's is when you find the ones with these different, I think these are called like the angel wings or something like that. And when you find them with these back pocket designs, a lot of them are all different. So the cool thing about that, and some of you guys might be thinking, well, if they're all different, it's going to be hard to find a buyer. You're right. You're looking for the buyer who wants that. Who wants that? And guess what? When they find that, they're willing to pay up for it. So I was really excited to get those. So all in all, you know, the purchase I got will pay for, you know, a good chunk of the hotel room. So it was a business expense as well, obviously. But yeah, and somebody was talking about the Miss Me prices. I would wait, and I'll try to update you guys when they sell. I could even argue wait to list those because you know, they sell really great in the fall, but in the summertime, jeans just do not sell for a premium. And Sonia says the cheapest pair she found at a yard sale was $10. I know, isn't that crazy? It's just really funny how it works. Mike says you can get them for $50 at Off Saks Fifth Avenue. What's up, Pittsburgh, Mike? That might be true, Mike, but the problem is that people are not going to always have a Saks Fifth Avenue near them, nor are they going to shop for them. And when people come on eBay and they see something they want to buy and get it, just like on Amazon. You're paying for the convenience of finding it right there, finding it then. So I don't worry about what prices are new for items necessarily. I really think about what the prices are on eBay itself or Amazon or whatever. I mean, that's what you got to go by, guys. That's what shoppers are telling you on those platforms that they're willing to pay. So I don't get too concerned about what they are new in a store, because a lot of people don't have their stores near them, or they just don't know, or whatever it is, doesn't matter. So we'll see what happens, but I was kind of excited to get those, but some of the completeds and soles of late have been fairly high on those. So anyway, yeah. Hank says, I've never seen a Saks Fifth Avenue in real life. Yeah, it's not a super high-end store, Hank, by any stretch of the imagination. But you can definitely find some good deals there. And Mike was talking about Nordstrom Rack. Yeah, Nordstrom Rack is great especially when they mark stuff down. Not so much when they're regular price. Their regular price is a bit higher. So that was all my show and tell from Austin. I hope you guys appreciate it. I'll try to keep you updated when it sells and let you know kind of how it goes and what you're expecting and what I get from them. Don't know. This time of year, I can tell you guys, I mentioned a moment ago, if you're selling clothing, you're not going to get a premium for clothing right now. I mean, I've seen like 7 for All Mankind jeans that some sellers have sold for like $5.50, which is silly. But it happens sometimes on eBay. You know, people just get desperate and want to move their product. So, you know, but just hang in there with pricing and so on. It will pick back up in the fall. So don't worry about it. You know, there's always somebody who's willing to pay a bit more of a premium if they find exactly what they want in their size and so on, just to, you know, get what they want. But yeah, hit the like button. Somebody's saying joy times. I appreciate that. Hey, when you guys get to this point in the video, you're going to see a card come up that's going to suggest another video for you to watch. And if you like this video, check that one out. So you'll find some other great content and so on. And that way you can check out and see if there's something else on the channel you like. So I appreciate it. I try to put out content that corresponds to other content on the channel, and you'll really will bring some value and so on. All right, guys, listen, I'm going to call it a wrap on that. So hit the like button before you go out and leave me a comment. I appreciate all you guys being here today. And I hope, the rest of your week goes well. I'll see you back here on Wednesday at 2 o'clock Eastern Standard. So thanks for watching, everybody. And this is Prof Sales saying good sales to you.